Jacquie actually met us as a client, joined us as a participant, and recently blessed us as a volunteer. And I would love for you to hear her story.
Good evening. I'm humbled to stand before you. Great organization has really made a difference. So my story kind of starts with that saying, never judge a book by its cover. So back in the day, not so long distance past, people would have looked at my life and said, she's got it together. I had a career as a teacher, been teaching at that time, at the end of my career for about 35 years. I had a house, I had a car, I had the 2 kids, and I even had a dog, you know. So the American dream, right? So people looking from the outside in would say I had it all together. And I really didn't have it all together, and soon it started to fall apart. So I had some things happen in my life that weren't so fun, such as I had a divorce. And that wasn't fun because I had this vision that we would be together on rocking chairs on the front porch, you know, in our old age, and sipping our sweet iced tea or coffee and doing our thing, but that wasn't going to happen. Just didn't work out. And I thought, God, what's going on? You know, what's happening here? So people didn't know that was going on in my life. You look at people, and a lot of you here, we don't know what you're walking through. And that was the first thing that happened. And then soon after that, I was diagnosed with cancer, a really rare form of cancer. And I thought, whoa, what's happening now, God? First, I lose my husband and a lot of other things along the way that are lost sometimes with a divorce. And now my health. And I thought, you know what, God? I've been a teacher my whole life. I've given what I thought my best, and what's going on? And I really struggled. Not only was I starting to struggle spiritually and emotionally, but financially. And then, as you all know, COVID hit. And my finances became even tighter. As you all know, you get that bill in the mail, and you're like, what happened to the water bill? Went up. And what happened to Excel bill? It went up. And I was really struggling with my value and self-worth. I retired. I had to retire because of my cancer. And I thought I'd be that kindergarten teacher. I taught full-day kindergarten. I love those guys. But I thought I'd be that full-day kindergarten teacher with my walker saying, come on, kids, let's go. But God had a different plan, okay? So one day a friend of mine said, you should call Love Inc. And I don't know what's Love Inc., Love Incorporated? You know, what? You find a new husband? What's going on there? I don't know. So, found out it wasn't that, by the way, that it was really in the name of Christ. So one day I got brave and took courage, and I called. And when I called, at the other end of that phone was love and compassion, no judgment. I didn't have a scarlet D for a divorce, which I thought every verse in the Bible I kept reading during that time was God hates divorce. But God still loved me, and that person at the other end of the phone couldn't have been kinder. And at that time, I was, I'm dealing with cancer, I have other health issues, so going out during COVID was not a good plan. And so the first order of business was trying to meet some of my physical needs, which Love Inc., said, oh, we can help you with food. So I thought, oh, they'll give me a gift card, and I'm going to have to go in the store. Not so sure about that. Oh, no. They said, we're going to deliver it to you. I'm like, who does that? Who does that, right? And I still get that delivery because my stamina with my illness to stand in line at a food bank, I couldn't do it for very long. I wouldn't make it. So I have been blessed by that. And then one day I get that call from Terry Bate, and I didn't know who this guy was. Why are you calling me? And he calls me and says, we think you'd be really a good person that could take value and learn by taking some of our classes at Impact. And I'm like, what's Impact? And come to find out, Impact was a place where you can come to community and learn. And I took that first class, Affirming Potential. And I have to tell you, if you haven't taken that class, you should. Because that's where I found my value and worth, that God still loved me. I still could contribute to society, even though I wasn't teaching anymore. And I didn't have the stamina to run and chase after kindergartners. But I could still make an impact for the kingdom. And in that class, you know what happens? Even at my age, at 60 something, I realized that I can still do stuff for the kingdom. It might be in little steps, but I can still do it. And I started to dream and have those dreams. And at my age, I could have a dream. So I started to learn that I could get my confidence back, and that God still loved me, and God still valued me, and that I didn't have the scarlet D. So what's loving doing? Loving's giving me tools from my tool belt all along the way. So when I started taking those classes, I got those tools. And I have to really say that loving, I think, saved my life. Not so much in a physical sense, but part of that, but more in that spiritual sense, that I wasn't alone. I could still have value and worth. And they kept giving me tools in my tool belt. I took other classes. And even though we were on Zoom, it was a community because I was isolated. So that community on Zoom, even though we looked blurry and you could dress from here up. So I would often be in my pajama pants or whatever, but you could look nice, but still feel like people were praying for you, and they were. And I just really felt loved in the name of Christ, not an ink, but love in the name of Christ. So none of my circumstances have changed. I'm still divorced. My finances are still a struggle. I still have cancer. But loving has come alongside me. And then just a few months ago, I lost my dad to cancer. And loving, they were calling to check on me, sending me texts, coming by. That's what I call a community and a family. That's what Love Inc. does. And don't you want to be around people like that? And so that's what I thought, now that, well, we thought things maybe were calming down with COVID. But I thought, I want to volunteer, and I want to surround myself with people like that. And so now I volunteer in the Connection Center, and I get the privilege of helping other people, and I love praying with people. And at the end, I give my secrets away here, but after I talk to people, I have a little paper there, and I'm writing down names, so I take those names home with me, and I pray for those people so that I can remember their needs. But I want to be a person that makes an impact. That's why those classes are called Impact. It changed my life. I was by myself, and I thought, okay, I'm not going to be able to do anything for God anymore. I don't have value, I don't have worth, but it's not true. You could be 90 plus, 100 years old, you still have value and worth in God's eyes. So, loving, they're walking the talk. They're not just talking it, they're doing something. They're putting action into it. I have a verse that I really felt has resonated with me for a while. I have several favorite verses, so picking one was tough, but this is one. And this is from John 16:33. I have said these things to you, that in me you may have peace. In the world you will have tribulation. But take heart, I've overcome the world.